Hi, it's a Lipstick Gal. Thank you so much for watching today. It is the 9th of September as I'm recording today, and I've just been getting a lot of fall vibes. Like all the pumpkin spice beverages are out. I picked up some Belvita in pumpkin spice. I love those little breakfast cookies. Those are delicious. But I've definitely been getting this, the kids are back in school. It's time for fall. And I was like, let me pull out some things that really make me think fall. And it was mainly eyeshadows. So I'm going to be using an eyeshadow palette today. Sadly, this is continued, but it gives me all the fall vibes. If you're interested, I do have a huge stack here of other palettes that kind of give me the fall feels. And if you're interested in seeing those, maybe you have some of these palettes, maybe some of them I think are still available. If you're interested, let me know. I can do a series like a once a week fall until like October or something, and we work through these guys. But I love fall so much. So I'm just gonna get started. Better prime. I'm so disorganized. I'm using the Touch in Soul No Poreblem Primer. I'm adamant that I will finish this primer by this year. And yes, I did pump 2 pumps out, and did I need that? No, but I will finish this. I'm gonna start with like my first thing ever. It's always the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Vanish for my under eyes. My hands are so slippery after that primer. It's like, there's no hope. But this makes such a huge difference, like without. And it's significant enough that like there are days that I wear just this. This and the new Anastasia brow pen. I'm like a little bit of darkness coverage and some brows. We had a really weird week with weather recently where it'd been like triple digits, and then all of a sudden it was in the 70s, and I was like, whoa, it's fall. It's not like it's still in the 70s, it's, high 80s during the, highest part of the day, maybe even mid 90s. So it's still summer, but, oh, this is not coverage for everything, that's just for not paying attention. The weather totally has me feeling kind of fall vibes big time. So I've been really excited about the prospect of, doing more like fall inspired looks. I will tell you though, the older I get, I definitely do still appreciate and live for a really light coverage foundation. If I get anything too heavy, powders, concealers, foundations, it just makes me look like a decade older than I am. And I don't mind 55 when I'm 55. Right now I want to look 45. Every time I use this, I remind myself that I don't use it enough because I love it so much. The Charlotte Tilbury Light Wonder is a perfect foundation for me. Just enough to kind of knock down a little bit of the redness. Doesn't really like fully opaquely cover the skin, but that's not really my jam. So I love this, and it's super easy. I can do it with fingers. I prefer it with a brush. I'm going to throw on some of the Light Illusion from Flower Beauty Concealer today. I wish they had more shades in this, but we use what we're given. This is their lightest shade, 1, 2. If I want a little more coverage, instead of using a brush or a sponge, I'll just use my fingers to tap it in. I like that this is also kind of a hydrating, slightly glowy concealer. It really imparts a beautiful look to my under eyes. So I don't know if this makes me a bad parent. I feel like I'm confessional. I've entered the confessional. My oldest daughter, who's 12, has been begging to have like a coffee. And my thing is, I feel like she's too young for caffeine. But the other day, my husband and I were all in the car on a Sunday, and we were driving through our local coffee shop, and I ordered a beverage, my husband ordered a beverage, my youngest daughter ordered a apple smoothie, and my oldest goes, I want the pumpkin. And I was like, the pumpkin is a mocha, baby. The mocha has caffeine. I want a caffeine free. And I looked at my husband, and he looked at me, and I was like, quietly, like, because we're in the front seat, do we do it? And he was like, so I was like, okay. Now my daughter is into expensive coffee drinks. There's no caffeine, but still, I'm just like, this isn't good. First of all, if you're drinking coffee for the caffeine, a cup of coffee will do you just as good as anything else. There's a ton of unnecessary sugary calories in this, but I was drinking one too, so I couldn't tell her like, no. And if she'd gotten her favorite like chocolate milk with whipped cream, it's still pretty pretty sugary and pretty fattening. So I don't know. We don't go very often, but it's one of the things that we have really kind of gotten in the habit of doing at least once a week since quarantine hit in March, that we all get together in the car, we all go to our favorite coffee place and we get drinks. Or if my husband's working, the girls and I will go and we'll take him one. But it's kind of like our family weekly tradition. But now it's like, it's not the kid size anymore, and now it's not even the kid drinks, boy. I'm going to use the Makeup Forever Matte Velvet Skin Powder Foundation. The first time I used this, I used this little sponge, and although it turned out really nice and pretty, it was too much for my face. I feel like this shade works better. It's a little dark. They don't have a shade that's lighter, that's not red based. This is the yellow 215. They have a R210 that's just a hair lighter, but it would be more pink leaning. And me and pink leaning foundations and powders and concealers, I'm neutral, so I guess I could do it. I just don't like the look of it. I feel like if I have to choose, I always go warm. I always go with like a yellow undertoned concealer or foundation or powder. So that's why I chose this one. It's not my ideal match, but it's not as heavy on the skin when I don't use the little applicator. You get almost flawless coverage when you use the applicator, but it can be a little heavy under the eyes, and that's not what I'm going for. So again, powder brush makes things just a little bit easier for me. With the powder brush, I get the sort of setting power that I want without it being too heavy and without being like a really serious line of demarcation between what I actually look like and what my face looks like. It always comes together with bronzer though. I have been loving this bronzer. I know there were some people who didn't like it. At first I was kind of unsure, and I think that unsure came from the fact that it seemed almost like no color to me. And then I did some swatching. I have it on the community tab of my YouTube channel if you're curious, but I swatched this next to another really light bronzer that I love, which is the Hoola Light. And this is just a little bit more yellow toned, a little warmer, and the other seems a little bit more neutral, but they're very, very light in shade, and I love Hoola Light. And I think I didn't realize how light this was until I swatched it next to something that I reach for habitually. And it does give me color, but not too much. And I think that had I gotten the shade 2, I would have had to be a little bit more careful, because there are some other bronzers that I have, like the Marc Jacobs Tantastic Coconut Bronzer. I like that one, but if I'm not careful, it looks like I rolled in the mud. And this one, as you can see, I'm still just piling it on. I feel like it's nice without being too much, but it is definitely, does have more of a warm lean to it. I'm gonna take a pause right now on the face. I'll put on some blush and highlight later after I get my eyeshadow on, because I definitely wanna know if I need a warm or a cool tone blush, because I wanted to use the Jackie Aina palette. This is like always like fall to me. And I know it came out kind of late August last year for Jackie's birthday, but I love this palette and I just haven't reached for it enough. I don't think you can still get this, but you may have it. If you don't have it, you know, find shades that are similar. But I really always love this one. I like that it forces me to go a little bit darker than I would normally go. So my favorite shade in here is Ginger. I'm just gonna lightly tap in that. I feel like I'm living my best pumpkin spice dreams. I love fall colors, but I'm not a pumpkin person. Pumpkin pie is my least favorite pie around the holidays. I never get the pumpkin drinks, like the pumpkin spice lattes or any of those other things that you get at coffee places. So funny. But I do love warmy, orangey tones, especially for eyes. I love kind of a darker, more intense eye. And this palette always ends up, you know, kind of being a little smokier on me. I know it doesn't look like that right now. Give it a minute, we'll get there. I'm gonna go into this brown here called Credit, and I have been loving this much smaller mini booster from Sonia G for placement, and then for kind of buffing. It's small enough that I don't feel like I get like darker shadows like this everywhere. I have so much more precision, and I love this brush. I love this shade right here. This is Wigglese. I don't use it that often, but it just makes me happy. And I think I'm gonna put this on the lid today. I don't know if that's advisable, but we're doing it. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. I'm back into that first shade Ginger because I just want to blend here a little bit. I feel like we're getting a little out of control. I quickly get out of control in the eyeshadow department, so we're trying to rein it in and blend well. I'm putting a little bit of ginger on the lower lash line. I feel like my eyes are getting really out of balance. It's like, I feel like lower lash line, if you're doing a really dark smoky look, helps so much. I'm mixing a little bit of the dark brown and that kind of rusty ginger shade right here for this corner where the bottom and the top meet. It's exactly what it needed right here. This shade always makes me so happy. This is called Zam. I'm just gonna kind of like tap it over into the inside corner, but especially over that first third of Wiggley's. Oh, so happy. The one thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this powder that I'm using today and I'm just gonna hit right underneath the arch of the brow with this. This brow pen from Anastasia, Beverly Hills, it's just called the Brow Pen, is my new favorite discovery. This might be like my new favorite thing of 2020. I have been, for probably the last year, on the hunt for something that would give me the look of individual hairs without being too much. And I never tried the Glossier one. I think a lot of that is because it didn't have a way to return it if it didn't work. Didn't have a way to know which shade to choose. I even bought this one blind, but I do use the shade medium brown normally in the Brow Wiz. I felt like, you know, I've already tried that shade, and if they're close at all, it would work. I also like that after you put it in, you can brush it through and it softens if you have some places where you held a little too hard, but it just gives me the most beautiful brows, and it fills in the places where I need it, and I don't feel like it gets too heavy. Again, I always start with my good brow. Now let's try and make the other one match. I'm gonna throw some Brow Boss gel in there, hold them up in place. Now I'm gonna mark them down. Okay, well this got a little Sharpie brow. I forgot that this is a really thick gel. We'll brush through it again once they're dry. All right. Oh, I need me some blush. Big time. I think I am going to use this. This is the M Cosmetics Heaven's Glow. Blush is my secret weapon. I love lipstick. I love eyeshadow. I love so many things. A good concealer. But if I don't have blush, oh, I look like death on a cracker. Recently, I have been reaching for the Lancome Absolu powder in the shade Absolu Peche. You'd think for $60 that you get packaging that wouldn't. This is all like the gold on top has been flaking off, and there's gold like all over this desk. It's a little frustrating, but the powder inside is like miraculous. And I've been using this, sometimes this and Wayne Goss's eyeshadow number 1 as my highlight. And this is supposed to be like a face powder, but I love it just for the high points of the cheeks because it's just enough and not too much. A little bit over the arch of the brow. This is a beautiful powder. I have used it all over the face, but unless you're going for that super, super glowy look, it can be a little much. But it's just the perfect amount for a soft, no glitter shine. Boy, my nose got a little shiny, didn't it? Tin Man reporting for duty. I got mascara everywhere. I'm gonna have to let it dry, but as we're letting it dry, I'm gonna put on some lipstick. I can't stop reaching for this Wayne Goss Mauve lip pencil. So good. This makes me want to reach for Charlotte Tilbury's Bond Girl. Let's see what it looks like. Oh yes. So if you wait for your mascara to dry, if you get it someplace that didn't belong, and use a Q-tip or even a clean spoolie, this one wasn't cleaner, I would have used this, you can just kind of scratch it off and it's super easy. Oh, I love this eye look. It's so, so pretty. If you have the Jackie Aina ABH palette, pull it out. It's a gem for fall. It's so gorgeous. You can get some really beautiful, warm, rusty tones. I don't normally play in kind of like these pinky purple areas, but that might be next because I was too worried last fall about how do I do this without getting it everywhere, and maybe I just need to, you know, it's quarantine. I'm not going anywhere. Oh, just throw it on. So let me know in the comments down below if you want to see me work through some other eyeshadow palettes that really give me like serious fall vibes. And we can do that as a series. If you're not interested, that's fine too. We'll just keep doing other things. Thank you so much for watching today. I always have fun, like when I think of something and it makes me think of a theme and like, and go. So this whole fall, and of course it's because I'm seeing all the pumpkin spice and like there are pumpkins everywhere at the grocery store and other places. It just really feels like fall is coming. And I'm so sad that I think Halloween's gonna be different this year. My youngest is like, I'm not gonna be able to go trick-or-treating door to door. And I'm like, maybe not. So maybe Mama's gonna have to, like all the candy she would buy for other kids is terrible. Maybe just for us. And we just won't do that. I don't know. Let me know if you have any ideas about Halloween. I don't think that things are going to be significantly changed in a month and a half, but let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Thank you for watching today. Let me know what your favorite products are for fall as well. If you have a special eye look you like to do, if you have a favorite lipstick or a blush you reach for all the time, tell me all about it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being subscribed. Have an amazing day, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.